Winning strategy. The strategy is for us to bring the cup home now. I mean,
What strategy?
is that the strategy or the goal?
No, see, the average man on the street does not know about strategy. They cannot even read it.
Yeah,
It's
just
difficult for
play
you to
football.
read movements that are constantly changing. So how many people know about strategy? So yes, we have a strategy, but you don't know.
I know that the coach usually says, look, Nigeria's team will select players based on the opponent. So against a South Africa, I'm just wondering, is Chukwueze going to start ahead of Moses Simon? What happens to the defense, how the build up, the overlap? Do you see so much changes in this team against South Africa?
I don't know. I'm not an expert in that regard. I thought that Chukwueze should be in that team. But the more I look at the games as they unfold and I see the players play, the more I see why he was playing Simon Moses. You know, he's somebody who would go back and forth,
And you need that.
rather than changing the players depending on the opposition. That means you are giving too much respect to your opposition and less to your own team. You play to your own strengths.
You know, experience teaches a lot. And you are so experienced in the field, and you've represented Nigeria, I mean, glowingly, in so many instances. Coaches like Gernot Rohr currently, Westerhoff in the past, Bonferré Joe, all of those people took Nigerians to the Nigerian team to appreciable levels in different competitions. If you were to gauge the performance of our team today, not just for the current tournament that is going on, but maybe for future ones that will come, how would you talk to the boys? How would you advise on the simplest maneuvers, especially in the middle, in the center field? We don't have an Okocha anymore. We don't have.
But we have an Iwobi.
No, you cannot compare Iwobi to Okocha. But we don't have an Okocha. Somebody who holds that center, so much confidence that is able to control, and we have a sense of relaxation, not our hearts palpitating. What would you say?
No, don't let your heart palpitate. Just take it easy and enjoy.
When there were two one ahead of us,
Even when
I stopped
the
watching.
Okochas and Kanus were playing, we still went through.
Yeah.
We are just forgetting. You know, those epic classics that we went through at that time. It's always like that, particularly when you are contesting at this level of the game, AFCON, where people think you want to win. But you spoke about coaches, and I'll be candid. For me, if I was in charge of Nigerian football, Gernot Rohr would have been on his way home. I'm sorry that's a bit harsh, but he did not. You are talking of palpitation and all that. You could see from how he selected players, particularly for that match against Madagascar. We could have been out of this competition now for his selection of players for that match, for how the team played. So, and you these days see coaches like Jurgen Klopp, like Mourinho. They are the 12th player. They are by the side of the field. They are directing their players. They are shouting on referees. They are doing things. That's the sort of thing that Nigerian players need. Nigerian players don't want somebody who will just sit quietly and not say a word, and they won't hear his voice. He won't help them in difficulty.
You mean like an Arsene Wenger? I know they'll come for me.
You know, so our nature is to be loud. Our nature is to be compelled, to be driven to the wall, to do that. You know, that our nature is not to just relax.
But the second part of that question is that if he chose those other players to play, and if our second 11 is not good enough to beat Madagascar, with due respect to them as well, doesn't that raise a question about the quality of our bench?
Well, but every team has its best 11. And you don't change the best 11 until something happens that earns somebody a right to be in that best 11. But for you to go to a game at that level and remove 5 of your core players for a team that is not yet playing well, because the more you play, the more united, cohesive you become. They are not cohesive yet, and then you split them up again, and then it's disrespect. In sports, you don't disrespect any opposition.
So against South Africa now, it's going to be the full able team
Absolutely.
That should
the
feel.
team you saw against Cameroon,
Yeah.
with one or more or without or something like that, it has to be that way.
Are you still optimistic that the Super Eagles has a good chance of bringing the cup home?
I have put my money on it.
So,
I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful. You know, I think that the spirit's there now. I'm monitoring very closely what is happening. I think the spirit in the team now. We don't have truly outstanding stars, but now we are developing into a team of young players.
Yeah.
And they are delivering. They are delivering. You know, at periods during every game, you see them just come up. The more this thing progresses, the better they will become.
but for AFCON, a lot of countries too are relying on young players. Look at the pace and the speed. That's what the game needs. That's the future.
Absolutely. That's the future. That's where we're going next. But that they are playing in Egypt, as I told you, helps those that are coming from high altitudes. Like Madagascar, which is that island is really high up. Like South Africa, like Kenya, although the Kenyans are out, but like that, yeah, it helps them tremendously.
One of the things that I would love you to be able to tell us now is, okay, what do you think of our preparation for tournaments like this? Another one will most certainly come in 2 years, 4 years, and all of that. Do you think we prepare substantially for these tournaments? Going forward from this one, what do you expect that we should do?
Well, preparation is difficult because most of the players that represent us play in Europe. They are playing for their clubs. The seasons are getting longer and longer. The time they have to go and even play for their national team is getting shorter and shorter. It affects everybody, you know, so it's not just us. So we can't expect the sort of preparations that we had when we could remain in camp for several months, all of us playing together. That makes for better teams, but they don't have that luxury today. You just have to use the limited period that you have. A few days for ordinary matches, 2 weeks for international championships such as the World Cup or the Nations.
That takes us then to relying on the basics. This is what countries do, because most times, even for those teams where they have so many competition, they don't train every day as such as they used to. They just rely on the basics, the strategy of what they had previously to see them through games. But for us here, how would you assess in terms of, you know, at the elementary stages, how football development, that talent, I mean, everybody knows Ajax, their foundation, what they do, what they are known for. What are we known for? What do we teach?
We don't have an organized, proper sports and football development program in our country. We don't. And it is so easy, so simple. I don't understand why we don't have it. We have the institutions, we have the population, we have the natural talent, but we still don't have a system in place, policies in place to make us see how we can put it together, measure it.
Does Brazil have that in place?
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Brazil has, USA has.
Even
most
though that
countries
strategy
have.
has worked for us before.
Of course it did before. Because what we have, the institutions, are the schools.
Yeah.
Primary schools, secondary schools, channels. You people are doing a great job. But you see, we have to take it globally. It has to be national. It has to be everywhere. Every school has to be part of the development.
It started as Channels Kids Club and now Channels International. So
Absolutely.
we're getting
You are
there too.
doing a fantastic job.
But when it comes to the Nigerian team, you know, there's something about acclimatization. Did we seize the opportunity to acclimatize in the high, what do you call it?
Egypt is not
High altitude areas?
No. I mean, there's no time. There's no time. They had only 2 weeks before the championship. They had to assemble only 2 weeks before their championship. They had to play a few friendly games. They had to now start to put in place their own tactics and patterns and all that. So there's no time for that kind of acclimatization. But that's not a problem now, because having been there for more than 10 days, you are all at par now, because that's all it takes for you to break down the benefits of or the advantages of acclimatization. When you go to a low-level area from a high-level area, after 10 days, you are all the same.
All right, well, we'll come back and take a look at perhaps one or two other teams and on the way to the finals and to touching that trophy. Join us again. You know, having seen and talked about the role Kanu played, what is it? Are we doing it yet in terms of bringing, you know, former Nigerian internationals, bringing them to football teams, bring them to the game itself, let them integrate themselves into the game, and then let's take advantage of all the wealth of professionals like yourself that we have. Are we doing that?
Well, the system does not promote ex-players from being a part of the running of football in Nigeria. It does not. Otherwise, we would have found several of us in several positions where we could have influenced, you know, the development. But once you finish playing your career, your football, if you don't go into coaching, forget it. And even the coaching is limited. They fight you all the way, as you can see happen to so many of our internationals. But we are hoping that in the very near future, we are going to be in positions where we can, you know, influence that those who have played the game, those who have run,
that's the way it should be. That's what other countries are doing.
Sports now have a place in the organization, the management, the administration, and so on and so forth. That would be the way.
Because I think that helps the whole thing by 30%. Because they know, look, I've been here. I can't afford to lose. I have something to lose if I don't win or if we don't get results.
Look at the difference between the governor of Lagos State going to see the players and Kanu going to see the players.
Yeah. Those are they love football.
The governor will go and he will just show his face. Oh, the governor, but Kanu will go and he will tell them what to do on the field of play. It's good for the governor to go, but it's better for Kanu to go.
So in fact, let's merge both.
Yes,
you know, institution and then the person, the expertise as well.
Absolutely.
But for this tournament now, the final four, okay, well, maybe not too far ahead of the finals. Who do you see, what teams do you think will be in the final four?
There are two dangerous teams for me.
Madagascar is surely one of them.
No, I think they have reached their zenith now.
Oh, okay.
I think at this point they can go and celebrate their huge success. The team that has impressed me the most, I don't know where they are now, is Algeria. I saw them play and I thought they were playing like future champions. South Africa, they are the most dangerous because they were not doing well. Now they have started to do well because they played well.
And they want to prove a point.
And they want to play. So we have to be very, very careful against South Africa. Once we get rid of them, we'll bring the cup back home.
Well, because we still have teams that Cote d'Ivoire hasn't played, Senegal hasn't played, Ghana, we don't know how they're performing.
Ghana, you know, leave all those teams. They are still way behind us. That's my feeling. You know, I'm not...
Okay.
So you think that
let me leave it on that good note. No, don't spoil this note. Don't spoil it. Come on, bro. Don't spoil it. Spoil what? Let me end on a good note.
It's a good note.
Optimism. Okay.
I just wanted to say that.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of time, guys. We need to go.
Back home.
We appreciate you coming on this morning. Mr. Odegbami, former captain of the Green and Goals, and he was very mathematical in his dates, in his play, and they remind us of your brother as well, Wale, who played fantastically well too. Thank you for coming on. Always a pleasure. Well, that is the show today. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm Chamberlain Uso.
I'm Gemba Umar.
Ayo Makide.
Boys, well, thank you so much for watching, everyone. I'm Maokwe Ogun Yusuf. Have a lovely day.
The views and opinions expressed by guests on this program are those of the maker and do not reflect the views, opinions, and endorsement of Channels Television.